Hello. I'm going to be streaming on, I'm going to be making a macaroni salad today. If you want a better view, I'm on YouTube, so you can catch me on YouTube. You get to see all the stuff that I'm doing from cutting and the other stuff. I've got better views and stuff, and also music in the background. So if you want to enjoy the next 45 minutes or so, with a little bit better of a setup, go pop over to YouTube. So I'm just gonna start. Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making a macaroni salad. So I'm going to be using a gluten-free macaroni salad. So first thing right off the bat, I'm going to just get a pot of water going so we can cook this. How's everyone doing? Hey Sharon, nice to see you. Hey Joe. So I'm going to be making a macaroni salad with the Catelli's gluten-free pasta. I like using this. The only thing is, I guess there's two components to it. Like for the gluten-free, it doesn't really stay well for the next day. So if you're going to be doing this from a food prep perspective, it would be best to use just regular pasta because I think it stays better. So I'm just going to put a pot on the stove and I'll be right back. So how's everyone doing? It's Tuesday. You can only hear me on the right side. Okay, hold on a second. Let me see. Tess? How about now? Can you hear me better? I have to change my setup a little bit for the audio. I'm also streaming on YouTube, so you get to see better views of Happy Tuesday. How's it going? The plant hun. Sorry, I can't remember everyone's name, so if your name's in your your nickname, then it'd be easier for me to remember, but it's so hard sometimes. So I'm going to be making a gluten-free pasta salad. So it's going to be macaroni salad. I have a little bit of a twist to it. Something that I learned, I used to work in a cafeteria, and part of the morning prep, you have to get there by a certain time and get like all this food prepared for everybody. And it's utter craziness, right? So one of the things I had to make were all these salads, right? So it'd be like potato salad to macaroni salad to just other fresh green salads. So a couple little tips that I learned from doing all that prep. I'm just going to be showing you in this cook. So I'm just waiting for my water to boil so I can get the macaroni going. And you know what? I forgot to grab a large bowl. Let me grab a large bowl. I'll use this guy here. So I'm going to be making this entire package. So I think this should be good. You need just room to mix, right? Last thing you want to do is get a tiny bowl and everything's falling apart, right? Sorry, everything's falling out while you're trying to get it to mix, right? So gluten-free pasta doesn't actually take very long to cook. Let me just double check the instructions. So it says to boil. Okay, if I want al dente for 5 minutes. Wow, that's fast. Double check that. And it says boil for an additional minute if you want. If you want it to be like better cooked. So like you do al dente if you're going to be throwing it into another dish with sauces, and then it's going to cook more, right? So in my case, I'm just going to cook it and let it cool, and I'm actually going to run it through some cold water so that it can cool down, and then we can start mixing in the pasta salad. Okay, so I'm just going to go quickly check the water, and I'll be right back. Okay. So the water is almost boiling right now. How's it sound now? Hey Steph, how's it going? Hey Sharon. Has the mic issue been fixed? Is it on both sides now? How is the volume for the music and everything? Hey Monica, how's it going? Hi, the vegan dove. Hey, Rob. How's everything going on your end? You able to stay active? Nice seeing you. Sorry, Monica, I can't do a video live right now just because I'm going to be doing a live cook. I'm not sure if you pressed that by accident, but while I wait for the water to boil, I'm just going to do some prep. So I'm going to take about a quarter of this bell pepper. I already just washed it, but you should wash all your veggies. So I'm just going to take a slice of this red bell pepper. I'm going to take another slice of a green bell pepper. If you come over to YouTube, you'll be able to see what I'm cutting on my board, because I've got multiple views and music as well. So if you're interested in that, just switch over to YouTube. But otherwise, you're just going to have to. I'm going to have to describe it to you. So I'm just going to cut these. So I'm just going to cut it finely, because you don't want to have big chunks in your salad, right? So. Haven't talked to you in a while, Rob. How's everything going? How's this last How's this last lockdown been treating you? Your voice is on the right. The volume. Volume is low. Cat here. The music. Volume is good for me, but I have it on my TV today. Okay. Cool. I'm on your TV. Should I lower the music volume? Was that what you're asking? Because I can do that. So I'm just going to finish chopping this up. It's nice. Abundant of veggies in the salad. Let's see how this water is. So the water is boiling. I'm just going to toss in this entire package of gluten-free macaroni by Catelli. It's actually one of my favorite ones because I'm not a big pasta eater, just because I find that when I eat pasta it kind of makes me sluggish. So the gluten-free one is awesome. And it's great for a cold salad, right? So let me just add this. It's going to be about 6 minutes. Turn down the heat a bit. Put my timer. So that's in there. Spoon. Pasta, I'm going to give it a quick mix, just in case. Sometimes when you drop in pasta, it sticks right to the bottom, so you should always give it like a quick mix when you drop it in. Anyways, that's what I find. Sorry, you know what? I didn't put the camera on this side today just because I figured it was going to be just boiling pasta and it's not that interesting, right? So when I do stir fries and stuff like that, I'll have a view of the stovetop, which is a lot better. So I'm just going to continue prepping. Actually, you know what? There's some things that I have only frozen. So like a couple of veggies I'm going to be adding are edamame, just to give it a nice amount of protein. Let's see. Volume is good for me. Okay. Any feedback, Leah Dia Designs or Sharon, in terms of the volume? So I'm just going to take, so I take the frozen veggies. It's, you know, a lot easier to keep the stuff frozen, right? So I'm going to take about, I'm going to say half a cup of the edamame, right? And I'm just going to put it in a bowl. And normally what I do to de-thaw this is I just pour hot water into that. And I'm going to take another bowl and I'm going to put some corn. Say about a half a cup. Toss this back in. Oh, I need to figure out how I'm going to close this one. Rubber bands are always good to have, right? Do you guys save your rubber bands from all your veggies, like your asparagus and stuff like that? Green onions? I always save those rubber bands. They're like a lifesaver. So I've got these two. I just put my water to boil on the pot. On the kettle, and I'm just gonna check my pasta so it doesn't overflow. Now I'm going to uncover it so that it can boil out. It says it's only got 2 minutes left. 3 minutes, right? So let's see how that goes. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Don't you hate when your pasta water overflows and then it like burns on your stove? I've got like a glass top stove, so it's the worst to clean. Hey everyone. You have those too. Yeah. I keep everything and then I reuse rubber bands and stuff like that. Crazy. So, okay, let's see. I'm gonna take about a half a jalapeno. Just to give it a little bit of a pop. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I'll get jalapenos and they don't taste very spicy, right? Like we're told like jalapenos are supposed to be spicy, but sometimes I get jalapenos and they're like bell peppers to me. So you know what? I'm gonna get a little bit more of that jalapeno because it's so little. I should pop in the seeds too, right? Got a minute and a half on the pasta, so I'm just gonna finish this up. It's like half a red onion. Cut it up finely also. So that kettle is almost finished. I don't know if you guys can hear that kettle. It's pretty loud. Normally when we turn it on, like, it just deafens the kitchen. So hopefully it's not impacting my mic volume. I've done a lot of upgrades since the first couple of streams, so hopefully you guys appreciate it or notice it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the water's finished boiling. I'm gonna put them in the sink. So let me show you what I'm gonna, actually, you know what? Let me show you what I'm gonna do here so you can see. So I've got my kettle here, and I'm just gonna pour the hot water into these bowls and just let it sit for like a minute or two. And now my pasta's done. I am gonna quickly check it because sometimes you never know, right? Timing might be off a bit. So do the squeeze test. Yep. It is stopped. Turn off this thing. There we go. So I've got my pasta already boiled. I'm just gonna pour it right into a strainer. And gonna run some cold water through it now. Otherwise it's gonna take forever to make this salad, right? Okay, so what I will do is just run the cold water for a bit. I'll run it through this so it stops cooking also. Funny thing about pasta, right, is when you make pasta and if you strain it, if you just leave it, it's still gonna cook, right, because it's still got the heat. So if you want it to stop cooking, you do have to run it through cold water. Another option is you can get some ice, right? In your strainer. But make sure you don't put like shredded ice or anything, right? Because you want to be able to pick this out eventually, right? It feels like it's not as warm. So I'll just let this ice melt out a bit and then I'll pick out the large pieces that are left. Okay. Should have tried to remember how many pieces I put in, right? I could take them out. Obviously, if you were going to cook this at home, you would just, unless you were in a rush, you could just let the pasta sit and cool down on its own. But I'm trying to do this for the sake of time, right? Trying to make a speedy meal. There we go. So where's everyone joining me from? On Insta. I think I've got Texas. Steph, you're from Arizona area, right? I believe. And I know Lydia is from Toronto area. Okay, so I believe I got out most of the ice. I think I got them all out. Just gonna run my fingers through to make sure I don't feel anything. Nope. And I'm just going to shake, try to get out all this water. Okay, perfect. Macaroni is a little bit difficult, right? Because inside you can get, like the water can get caught in between. go. Now we can start putting together this salad. Oh, I found a piece of ice. Let's get that loosened in there. Okay, so we got our macaroni, right? It can be a little bit moist. That's fine, right? And now what we're gonna do is we've got these. They warmed up, right? Because it was hot water. You know what? I should get. I'll grab a small strainer. So I'm gonna take the strainer and just strain out the corn, and I'll dump in the corn now. Nevada, yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. I know it's early for you. Texas is an hour ahead of us. Sorry, hour behind us. So I got my edamame as well, right? So I'm just gonna add this to my salad. So that's those two, and then I'm gonna take all these veggies that I cut up. So I cut up some green pepper, red bell pepper, onions, and some jalapenos. Right? So I got that in there. Perfect. So I got all that in there, right? And now I'm going to start putting in the other components, right? So the biggest change I make to my recipe is I use hummus instead of mayo, right? So I'm gonna just be generous. I'm gonna do that was about 2 tablespoons. So I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons. I'm just gonna put my spoon in there so it can get cleaned off. I don't have to waste any hummus. Right, and you could add more if you need it. Then I got some mustard. So I would put in about a tablespoon of mustard as well. These are the little secrets I learned while I was working in a cafeteria. So I'll put about 2 tablespoons of relish. Yeah. So I use sweet relish. I don't know if you guys like the other one. I forgot what the other one is. So it's like a garlic relish or like a savory one. And then I'm gonna put in my dry ingredients. So here's my spoon. So I've got some garlic powder. Right. So I'm gonna put about half a teaspoon of garlic powder in there. Then paprika. I use paprika in almost all my meals. I'm gonna put 1 teaspoon paprika. And then this is where you have to be careful. Make sure you pay attention to these two. They look the same, but they offer very different results, right? So one's paprika and the other one's cayenne. Maybe as a prank I'll switch the labels out. So cayenne, I'm probably gonna take about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Sprinkle that in there, right? And then, you know, might as well get it in there. You're not gonna really taste it. Get some turmeric or curcumin. Gonna get about half a teaspoon. Drop it in there. You know, just knowing that this helps with inflammation. Like sometimes after my runs or whatever, if I'm like super sore, I'll I'll just make like a little turmeric tea. Just put a little bit of hot water, dissolve the turmeric into it, and then you know, put a little bit of black pepper also, and just like take a gulp, right? Because it helps with inflammation. I put about, I think that's about 8 grinds of black pepper, right? And now I think we can mix this. So let's see how this goes. We may need to add more hummus as we go, but this is pretty much the dish. Stick to your spoon while you're mixing it. And look, I picked a bowl that I thought was going to be bigger than I needed, but I should have got a bigger bowl. I guess pasta expands a lot when it cooks, right? One of my favorite salads. I've also made a potato salad. It's similar to this. Now, I know there's relish in here, and the sweet relish and the mustard, so they add like the components that's gonna like boost the flavor, right? But I do also hit this up with a little bit, depending on what your mood is, you could hit this up with a little bit of sriracha or some pepper sauce, which is nice because you turn like this nice fresh salad. This is actually looking really good. There. Well, you guys can see it this view. You can hit it up with some pepper sauce. I'm gonna hit this up with a little bit of dill also. I've got dry dill. So I'm gonna take about, I'm gonna say half a teaspoon. So that's dillweed. That in there. I love that smell of dillweed. Looks so good. How are we looking on time? Oh, it's only been 30 minutes. Okay. Not too bad. Oh, let me know what kind of dishes you want me to cook. I know I did some traditional Sri Lankan food in one of my lives, right? So I've got a lot of, you know, obviously there's like a lot of different types of meals that I can make on that side. But I've got, you know, in my experience, I know a lot of salads, right? So different things I can make. I'm gonna grab a bowl now. Give myself a nice healthy serving of this. that's my lunch. I made the entire package, right? So I might as well give myself a nice healthy serving. This timing works out perfectly. Normally I fast until 12, right? And then I'll eat my my first meal. Generally it's a smoothie or a juice, but this is just as good. So that's what the dish looks like. You're gonna see it on Instagram shortly, right? And it'll be in the thumbnail for this video. So unfortunately, Instagram fam, I am going to be saying goodbye to you, but if you'd like to continue watching, shoot over to the YouTube channel. I'm just gonna finish eating this, and we're gonna chat afterwards, so if anybody has any questions. So if you want to shoot over to YouTube, I'll see you there. If not, thank you for joining me. Okay, bye. Okay guys, just give me 1 minute and I will be back. Enjoy the tunes. Now I am back. So I'm just gonna chow down. So what's everybody up to on this Tuesday? You guys enjoy the tunes? I'm not sure what's going on with Spotify, but I'm using Spotify. They've got like no copyright music and stuff like that. The last 2 episodes that I put up with the background music, I got flagged, and I'm like, I went back and looked at the songs, and I'm like, why are you in a no copyright list if I'm gonna get a copyright mark, right? So that was kind of weird. So I just selected a new playlist. There's plenty of no copyright music on Spotify. Hopefully I don't get a strike for this one either. Well, it wasn't a strike, but it was just kind of like a warning, right? Have you gone on any hikes recently, Steph? So good. Sharon, what is Alexa? Oh, wow. Oh, it's a Sri Lankan curry? How do I not know that? Let me look it up. Maybe I just know it by a different name. Oh, it's a soup. It's a noodle soup. Wow. It says it's a Malaysian dish. I don't think I've had it. You know, it's interesting. There's not a lot of soups in my cuisine. Right? Like, I've adopted a lot of more of Asian cuisine soups. But they're like, I don't know of many soups that we have. Like, a lot of the soups that I know of are like things that we've adopted from like Asian other Asian cuisines, right? Oh, you said it might be Singapore. Yeah, it showed it was Malaysian. Have you had it before? I assume, and you liked it. It showed there was lemongrass in it, so. Steph, how warm is it in Arizona? Like, what's the Fahrenheit temperature right now? Oh, you have it in Australia, okay. So the little a little background. You know how I was saying that I worked in like a cafeteria? It was a cafeteria for like a nuclear power plant. I got this job when I was like in high school. Yeah, I was like towards the end of high school. Wow. 80 is cool. What's 80? 80 is like I know I know on my runs it's saying it's like 48. So oh yeah, that's hot for us. That's like summer weather for us. You know, literally anything over like 12 degrees at this point. Most days, wow, or 100 plus. That's crazy. You know what though? Like, I'm from a Caribbean island, right? Sorry, not a Caribbean, but like it's not Caribbean because it's not in the Caribbean, but it's an island right off the tip of India, Sri Lanka, and it's hot there. Like I was there in December of 2019, and it like days are like pretty hot, right? Like if you stand in the sun, you're gonna get burned. I mean, I'm gonna get burned too, right? Like, see how I have like, you know, there's a pretty decent line around. That's generally from me running in the summer, but it gets like pretty distinct. So yeah, I was telling you about the cafeteria I worked for. Was at a power plant, and it was interesting because, you know, it's a very especially the morning shift is kind of a bit of a lonely shift, right? You start to see a lot more people come in like around 10, 11, and towards the midday. And so in the mornings, you know, I'd get there at like 5 in the morning and have to bake muffins and cookies and all that stuff, get the coffee ready. Like this first thing you have to do, because as soon as you open the gate, people are coming in and they need that stuff, right? And then you get like these little pockets to do things like, you know, you have to like wash dishes and make the salads and help prep for the bigger meals, right? The cook did a lot of it, but there's like stuff that is like solely on your plate, like you have to do it, right? So, but yeah, so this recipe is something that I learned there, right? And they were like, yeah, relish and mustard go into this dish, and I was like, really? Wow, I would have never guessed that, but it makes it taste really good. They're condiments, but you know, if you think about it, the relish is basically like pickles, right? Sharon, how hot is it in Texas? It must be similar, right? In terms of heat. Well, okay, so for the lockdown, our numbers spiked, right? I think it was like right now we're at like 2,500 cases. I think a day. I'm not sure, but they said that the lockdown, they're waiting for the numbers to drop below 1,000 before they kind of loosen up a bit. But they've also we're getting a lot more vaccinations now, so and they've dropped the age limit down to like to 18, and I think in there's some hotspot areas that they've even dropped it down to 12. So, or they're going to. So, but I'm still waiting to get my first shot. Has everybody been vaccinated? Not hot today. Freak weather, tornadoes, and hails. Wow. That's what you guys get in Texas? Well, I know you got the snow, right? We sent you the snow from Canada. We get freak weather here also, right? There's been times where it's like July. I remember in July we were going to a wedding, and so we were going to this wedding. So we're like, people were over, and everyone's getting dressed, and in like they were wearing like saris and stuff like that. And I looked outside because I heard a noise, and I looked outside, and it was hailing in July. It was like, and then it cleared up, and it was like, it was warm again. So, yeah, you guys weren't prepared for it, right? Because Texas doesn't get, that type of weather ever, right? Yeah. Oh, the water supply got contaminated. That's crazy. I'm not sure how much you guys follow science and stuff like that, but they're talking about there's going to be potential of the north and south poles realigning, and if that happens, it could be very catastrophic for people, right? Because if you think about where people live and what they've adapted to, like what kind of climates people have adapted to, if there's a shift where you didn't choose it, right? Yeah, so if you didn't you didn't make the decision to move somewhere where you knew that there was going to be an impact, right? It could be very detrimental to you, right? Just like, yeah. So can you imagine the North Pole and the South Pole like realigning? And that doesn't necessarily mean that the world's going to change its tilt, right? The North and South Pole, I don't believe it perfectly means that that's where the tilt is. I think that's just the magnetic North and South Pole, but it has other impacts. So, like, you must be aware that how the poles work with the magnetic fields, and how solar radiation bounces off the magnetic fields. The top 2 points, like the top point and the bottom point, are the weakest in our field. So when radiation hits it, that's when you see things like the aurora borealis, like the colorful northern lights. but I think that also means that, you know, you're receiving radiation. So Sharon, Steph asked, what side of Texas are you on? I'm done. That was good. Let's wrap this up. Put this in the fridge. I'll just drop a large plate on top. Arlington. I don't really know Texas or the U.S. that well. Put the hummus in there. Oh yeah, I wonder how that's going. I know she was at like close to 700 last night. If you use that link, it's probably going to be the quickest way. Hopefully she gets it soon. Oh, it's in the middle of Texas. Okay. In a second. Yeah, I wish I could post it in my story in terms of a link, but I don't have that functionality yet on Instagram. Well, thank you everyone for joining me, ladies and gentlemen, in case there is someone here. I am going to just do some cleanup now. Did most of it. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and get regular text updates out. Parents are like that, right? Or in-laws, I guess. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys on the next live if you guys can make it. I'm thinking I might do something traditional, but I may just take a little poll to see what people would like to have. Let me know what you think. I know Sharon wanted that soup. Thank you, Sharon. Thanks, Steph. Thank you, Leah Dia. And you guys have a great day, okay? Thank you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks, Steph. You too.